Hello, everyone. My name is Nico Wahe, and you are listening to GMA Sports. And today, we're going to talk about basketball. And we all know that FIBA Olympic Qualifying Tournament is just right around the corner. And our Gilas Pilipinas men's national basketball team is already in Belgrade, Serbia, to compete and to fight for the chance for a slot in Tokyo Olympics. And yes, for today, we will have our Serbian correspondent to talk about this, the chances and all. He is a veteran sports writer from Serbia, none other than Mr. Milos Jovanovic. Sir Milos,
Evening, everyone, or afternoon. I don't know what time are you going to show this, and thank you for having me.
first, I just want to know how are you there in Serbia? How are you coping up with this pandemic?
Well, right now I'm coping worse with the heat, I have to tell you, but the pandemic has seemingly run its course for now. It is summertime, the numbers have receded a lot, and the percentage of vaccinated people is growing. So thankfully for right now, we're feeling safer than the average, but we will see what the autumn and the winter season brings. We're cautiously optimistic, let's put it that way.
Good to hear that, Sir Milos. First, I just want to know more, know a little bit of your about yourself and your experience as a sports journalist, a veteran sports journalist.
Well, I've been following basketball for the past 30 years and professionally for the past 20 years, writing for a number of publications, including international franchise of Vice Sports. Currently busy writing for a Serbian outlet called Mondo, which is also having me as a podcast host on basketball once a week. Well, first of all, Serbia is a country with one of the richest basketball traditions in the world, and especially in terms of international basketball, we have really won a lot. If you count together the medals from the old Yugoslavia, including the 1978 World Cup, which Yugoslavia won in the Philippines, we have like 5 World Cups, numerous European golds, 1 Olympic gold, couple of Olympic silvers, so on. And we perceive also basketball as a national sport, as a national pastime as well. But looking at the Philippines, every time there is a big national tournament, international tournament, excuse me, and something like the World Cup, the Olympic Games, it is always good to root for the underdog, especially, and there are countries which sometimes invest a bit too heavily for my liking in their basketball programs, bring imports, give handout passports to Americans mostly and stuff. Well, Philippines, okay, they have imports of their own, I understand, but the core, the essence of the team is very much Filipino, and I really like the team which will give their all and battle it hardest in their style, which is their DNA. And the Philippines, they have one style of basketball, and they will present it and try best at winning. And I like the positivity within the Filipino fans. I have not, they don't have a great track record at the World Cups or something like that, but I see people never lose hope, and they're very thankful for the opportunities, and they seem to cherish meeting the big teams at the international stage.
What are your thoughts on this young, hungry Gilas team coached by Coach Tab Baldwin?
Well, first of all, just to put in perspective, Tab Baldwin is a coach who's been in the national circuit for a long while. People in Serbia will mostly remember him as a person who was coaching the Tall Blacks team, the New Zealand national team, back in 2002. Yugoslavia has beat New Zealand in the semifinals of the World Cup, and they have proven a much stiffer challenge than one might imagine. It was a legendary New Zealand team with people like Sean Marks, now an NBA executive, Kirk Penny, and the immortal Pero Cameron, of course. And that was a very, very interesting and up-and-coming team to be on the lookout. Now, so Baldwin with Filipinas, I understand he has brought a young, mostly NCAA, well, let's call it NCAA. I know you have a different, what's it, UAAP or something like that?
Yeah, UAAP, and we also have NCAA, NCAA.
Yes, exactly. So he brought, a younger selection, and I think this is fine because he had probably the time and the opportunity to work with them as a unit. While PBA players might have more individual quality, I think that on tournaments like this, the preparation and the cohesiveness of the team unit plays a big part. You can see this really well with, for example, Canada or African teams, which on paper they have a really strong selection. For example, Nigeria will have a couple of NBA players like Josh Okogie, and Canada will have Andrew Wiggins and Jamal Murray and all this. But those are people who meet and see each other once a year. And sometimes only I like to say that only the United States have the quality of team, individual quality, which can bridge that over and meet once a year and still beat everyone because they're so much better. But in cases of like this, it's far better to have a group of players who are going to take under your wing and tutor them and gel them from the start. And maybe there is less individual quality, but the team quality should be a bigger asset in such tournament conditions. If I remember correctly, the Gilas also had a developmental team play in the PBA, I think 2012 or 13, with Marcus Doutfield.
Yeah, that's the Gilas one.
Yes, with Coach Toroman from Serbia, who was the coach of Gilas Pilipinas at that point. And I believe that Chris Chu was also, I think, one of the star players of that generation. And that team was very surprising. I believe they almost went to the finals of one conference at one point. They played exciting basketball, and you could see that they were very motivated and cohesive and played together. So that was a good experiment, in my opinion. And if Coach Baldwin can repeat that, and as I said, chemistry is really king in a short space tournament like this. If they get it right from the start, and they're playing their first game against Serbia, which, with all due respect, I think Serbia is a heavy favorite. If they get through that and salvage their confidence going into the next game, which is a key game against the Dominican Republic, I think they have a good shot at least advancing to the knockouts.
Now here's something you should be very familiar with. Tell us more about this edition of Team Serbia, playing without the NBA MVP Nikola Jokic, and also some veterans or absences. How does it differ from the past editions, especially from those guys that Gilas played last 2019 FIBA World Cup?
Well, a couple of players are obviously absent, most notably Jokic, as you have noted, and Bogdan Bogdanovic will not be there. He's playing in the Eastern Conference Finals with the Atlanta Hawks. But even if he wasn't, he is currently battling with a knee injury. We're looking to see what's going to happen even if Serbia qualifies. His availability will be difficult to ascertain at this point in time. Marko Guduric is also not playing as well, who is a second alternative at the shooting guard position. Some of the players have retired since, such as Marko Simonovic for the national team. Miroslav Raduljic is not there. Quite a few players are not there, but there is a couple of players who are back who we haven't seen in a while, such as Milos Teodosic, and some younger and up-and-coming players such as Filip Petrushev and Ognjen Dobric are coming through the ranks. Compared to that team, well, the big change is the coach. Coach Djordjevic has quit after the World Cup in China in 2019. The new coach for the last 2 years, is Igor Kokoshkov, who has been assistant in the NBA level for the past 20 years. He was also head coaching in Phoenix, the first international head coach in the NBA, and is currently coaching at Turkish Fenerbahce. So he is the new face, the most recognizable new face. Regarding the players, I think the majority of the Serbian public is very happy that Milos Teodosic is back. He has been the face of the national team for the past 11 or 12 years. He was forced to miss the last couple of national team gatherings because of the injuries. He is getting a bit, as you say, long in the tooth right now, but he is still in prime shape. He has just finished a very good season in Italy, where he won the national championship with Virtus Bologna by beating the much favorite Milano team in the finals, actually sweeping them 4-0, which was very much unexpected. He is the guy who's going to be pulling all the strings from the backcourt, and he is the one to be definitely looking at, especially because he always cherished playing for the national team, and he wasn't able to do so in a while. So I think he will really appreciate the home crowd and everything which is going on around that. While we're sticking with the backcourt, Vasilije Micic, who had excellent season in the EuroLeague, the reigning MVP of the EuroLeague competition and winner of the EuroLeague title with Anadolu Efes of Turkey, is also there. He was having a slight injury worry before the tournament started. He hasn't played in any of the preparation games, but he will be present for the opener, and he is expected to play some minutes.
You've mentioned about this Teodosic, Micic, and also Jovic. You call them the three-headed monster of the backcourt. Do you think our smaller backcourt, younger but smaller backcourts of SJ and Abarientos will pair up or will have a chance to really distract these veteran point guards of Serbian team?
Well, as you know, the saying, the ball is round. As long as you're on the court, everybody has a chance. The key question there's just two things which the I would say Gilas guards need to do in order to stay competitive. One is they should show no respect, and I mean this in a positive way possible. Do not be afraid of those people. They're just human beings, as we say in Serbia. They go to the same toilets as you do, so they're basically very much flesh and blood. And of course, they have tons of experience. Teodosic, who has played something like 10 Final Fours of the EuroLeague, has played in the NBA. Micic, who's probably on his way to NBA, and Jovic, who has seen it all on the European circuit. They're very talented and they're very experienced. But for Gilas guards, as I say, show them that you're not afraid and keep possession. Basically, force them to work for the possessions. Don't give away easy balls. All three of them are great in transition. Teodosic and Jovic in particular are known for the cross-court passing, leading the transition attack and cutting diagonally and finding big men or the wingmen for the easy buckets. So I say keeping possession is definitely something you don't want to gift Serbia transition. You're expected to be lagging behind in the half-court game, which is normal against the more experienced and let's say more sizable opposition. But you don't want to help them. So basically, let them earn their points and let them sweat out a bit. I'm not saying it's going to be a great matchup, but with dedication and with Puso, as you say, they should make Serbia work for it at very least.
Now let's go to the other team that the Gilas Pilipinas will be facing. How far could this Gilas team, Gilas Pilipinas, could go against this Dominican Republic, or there would be a chance that they will beat this Dominican Republic?
I think there is a decent chance about that. I think the Gilas can give their best account against the Dominican Republic. Uh, the Dominicans also, I have seen a couple of games and highlights. They have played the FIBA America qualifiers back in February in 2021, and the fact that they finished second in their group, they have lined up against Canada and Virgin Islands, and in a key game against, they beat Virgin Islands in the key game, and that basically sent them to Belgrade for this tournament. Now, they have been played in a virtually unchanged team over the last couple of years. We all know their strengths. They have Eloy Vargas as the center, and they have Vitor Liz as their shooting guard. Those two guys have been around forever, so to speak, in international terms. They have an up and coming, not really. He's not 18 or 19, but he's youngish. Mike Torres, who is one of their bigger names in European basketball. He's playing for Real Betis in the Spanish ACB, and while he's not really a big rotational player in Betis, he has been playing really well for the Dominican Republic. He has pace, he attacks the rack, and he will, pass the ball as well. But other than that, in generally speaking, the Dominicans could be, yes, they're experienced, but they're also veteran. And I think here it will be a question of hunger. If Gilas are motivated and if they approach the game right, I believe they have a good shot against the Dominican Republic. But what I mean by that, Gilas should attack early and fast. Now, I'm a strong believer in playing to your strengths. And the Filipino teams across the years, they have a certain strength which they need to exploit in the international competition, which is basically pace. Filipino players have pace to burn. Historically, they had pace to burn. And the Filipino guards, while maybe lacking in size, are usually very technically adept and very fast. If we just remember players such as Alex Cabernet or Jason Castro, the Blur, as you call him in the Philippines, and those kinds of players are something which I have in my mind when I think of Filipino backcourts. If they attack early, they can take Dominicans by surprise, and if they build an early lead, I think the Dominicans can start to panic, and this is where the coaching part comes in, and maintaining that lead will be interesting if this happens. But as I said, I think Filipinos should play the game which is in their DNA. So basically just attack, be quick and relentless, and just hope to stay in there. If Gilas are in the game by the third quarter, they have a really good shot at staying there and battling it out for that qualifier spot.
Thank you, Milos, for joining us and sharing your thoughts about this FIBA Olympic Qualifying Tournament. And if Gilas advances to the knockouts, I hope we can do this again. And for our audience, you can read Milos' breakdowns of this FIBA OQT on GMA News Online. We have articles of his up on the website. That's gmanetwork.com/news/sports. And for more sports content, please follow us on GMA Sports PH on all your favorite social media platforms. Once again, I am Nico Wahe, and thank you for watching GMA Sports.